You asked for it and you got it. Welcome to your Lightroom Masterclass. Let's get into it. First, let's make sure that you're shooting in RAW. When you shoot in RAW, it's basically your digital negative. It's got all the data that your camera captured, but none of that baked in contrast, sharpening, or saturation that you see on that little screen on the back of your camera. And that means that you get maximum control over your editing, but you also have to process that digital negative yourself. Today, I'm going to walk you through 8 steps that will help take you through a RAW workflow using Lightroom. This is a great go-to process for everything from portraits to landscapes, and it works whether you want a clean, natural look or something stylized according to your specific style. The process is relatively simple. CCF. That stands for correction, color, and finish. First, we're going to fix the image. Then, we'll make it look the way that we want. After that, we polish it up for the final result. Before you start touching the sliders, make sure Lightroom is helping you instead of working against you. In the lens correction panel, check these 2 boxes. Remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. Lightroom will detect your lens, straighten distortion, and remove vignetting automatically. Vignetting is when the edges or the corners of an image appear darker or sometimes lighter than the center. This could be an intentional look, and if that's what you're going for, cool. But if not, with just one click, you're starting with a corrected foundation. I like to crop early on because it sets the mood for the whole entire edit. And if I can't find a crop that I like, I might actually skip editing that entire photo. For Instagram, I usually go 4x5. And a big tip, if an element is in the frame, either commit to it, showing all of it, or crop it completely. Nothing looks more awkward than half a tree or half a shoulder. When you shoot in RAW, white balance is flexible. You can change it later without any quality loss. I usually start by using the eyedropper tool that you'll find under color, then white balance. Depending on the vibe I'm going for, I'll grab something neutral, like a white or a gray color. Sometimes that does most of what I may be trying to accomplish. But check out what happens when I choose this little blue reflection in the hubcap. I instantly get a warm golden hour vibe. Or if I click on the taillight, it cools things down for a totally different feel. Next, I go up to the light tab, and under that drop down, I adjust the exposure to get the overall brightness that I'm going for. From there, I use highlights. I pull them down to recover detail in the bright spots. I hit the shadows and then lift them to reveal detail in darker areas. Next, I hit the whites and the blacks. This is where you can get truer whites and truer blacks without losing important detail. Now I come back to my color and white balance and move those sliders to refine the temperature and tint if need be. Pro tip, when you're editing people, use vibrance instead of saturation. It boosts colors without turning skin tones into an oompa loompa. The tone curve is where you give your image depth and contrast. A gentle S-curve will lift highlights and drop shadows, adding a natural contrast. If you like a matte look or finish, lift the black point slightly. The black point is located here in the bottom left corner of the tone curve. If you're going for something like a faded green film style, add a hint of green in the shadows using the green channel, and balance skin tones by tweaking the red and blue channels. The key here is small moves. They can make a big difference, and it is easy to overdo it. Now, here's where you can get really precise with individual colors. HSL stands for hue, saturation, and luminance. Hue changes the actual tone of a color, like green to yellow and blue to aqua. Saturation affects the intensity of that color, and the luminance impacts the brightness of that color. As an example, let's say you like the look that you have so far with this classic car, but you want the color to have a little bit more red pop to it. I can simply drag the hue to the left and bump the luminance to the right, and voila! Making the adjustments this way can help you keep the background from competing with the subject. Now let's talk about color grading. For me, this has always sounded a little bit intimidating, but trust me, you do not need a degree in color palettes or editing. Color grading is nothing more than what many people are already doing when they add a filter to a picture or to a video. Instead of adding a filter, you're applying your own custom filter by making the adjustments manually. And you're doing that according to the specific look that you are going for. Color grading lets you add color to shadows, midtones, and highlights separately. For a cinematic feel, you can cool the shadows to blue-green and warm the highlights to a more golden effect. This creates separation between the subject and background and gives images that moody but inviting vibe. For skin, be subtle. The midtones are where skin lives, and it's easy to push it too far. Now, here's my favorite final tip, and this one is very important. Walk away for 30 minutes, maybe more. You'll come back with fresh eyes, and you'll instantly spot if something's too dark, too bright, or oversaturated. Once you're happy, export JPEG for social media. Resize according to the platform. If you're printing it, export a TIFF. Oh, and be sure to save your settings as a preset so you can recreate that look in just one click. We started out with a flat, dull RAW and turned it into something that's polished, stylized, and looks very natural. Whether you want realistic edits, something that's more cinematic, regardless, this workflow should help you get from beginning to end. If you'd like to see another video where I use masking to really isolate certain features such as the eyes, the skin, the teeth, without affecting the other areas of your photo, leave a comment below. And if you found this video helpful, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if there's any other editing tutorials that you'd like to see. Until next time, keep your camera with you, keep shooting, and I'll see you in the next video.